Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're playing Absconding Zatwor. This is one of the games that I've gotten for free since starting my YouTube channel. Not because I'm a YouTube video game critic or anything, but simply because it was free on Steam, or somebody was giving away a key from either Twitter or the Humble Store or someplace like that. Things open to the public, but also things I didn't pay for, so I'm not very committed to them. Now, on top of it, this game is quite unique because it's not even on Steam anymore as far as I can tell. When I click show me the store page, it takes me back to the main Steam page. That's what happens when games are taken off Steam. And I can pretty much guess why right now. This looks like an asset flip. This looks like one of the fake games built around achievements. And it looks like a game that very possibly just may not have been worth your effort. We can see reset progress, reset best times, audio level, and keyboard and mouse, and then I guess I have to find the backspace or the escape button to get back from there. This is a terrible icon here. Now, I'm not gonna say for sure that this is a fake game, not before I play it, but it certainly does seem pretty bad. Randy Crow was an ordinary guy living an ordinary life. That is the worst way to start a story whatsoever. We don't want to read about ordinary people in ordinary lives, and you don't want to use the same word twice in a sentence. Nice family, 2 brothers, a dog. Just single still images here that you have to click on, but then one night he went to the gas station to buy cigarettes and witnessed a brutal murder of a gas station cashier. Wow, this got bloody and dark immediately. By the time police got there, it was already too late. The killer was long gone and Randy was the only guy around. That's where they took him and locked him up for good. That prison they took him to was Zatwor, the most brutal prison in the country. Aware of his innocence, Randy decided to run away. In his way is only the best security system in the world. Hold left mouse button to move your character. So this is a top-down escape from prison thing that didn't need any backstory at all. I mean, you literally could have just started here, put a red text that says escape. And don't get spotted. Can we do anything to this? At this rate, I may not even be able to beat the first level. And you're gonna have to be very careful. Like, this is really tight for mouse controls. And it seems like the music changes. And again, I would have to allege something here, and I don't want to make any legal allegations, but I'm wondering if this music was licensed legally, or if this is just stolen music with maybe purchased Unity assets. Like, how are you even gonna, like, okay, so there's a little bit of overlap because I did specifically just get seen, and when you are seen, you get a police siren that actually I'm kind of happy isn't that long. So go. And there doesn't seem like there's a run button, or the right mouse button, or anything like that does anything. In a game like this, you would kind of want to get into a groove. So if you started running immediately, you should be able to sneak by and move as fast as possible. Stop moving when the noise detector's range. Oh yeah, and that is clearly a Metal Gear Solid sound effect. So this isn't as much a fake game, I would say. Steam standards, we're still not certain about fake, what they actually call fake games. But or they don't use the phrase asset flips, and I think the two kind of mean different things anyways. But I think in this case it's missing from Steam because it just used copyrighted material that they didn't own the license to, which means potentially now what level of legality am I in as far as news reporting and criticism and review? It's still probably fair use, but it's if the creator of this game, say, had given me license to use the audio and visual effects from their game, but they didn't have license to use the audio and visual effects they put in the game, then somebody can't clearly give you license to something they don't actually own. Well, I can't believe I looked down and I made it through that whole thing. But yeah, that's totally a copyrighted sound effect, and I bet all of this is. I bet these are just Unity assets because they don't really mix that well together. I have been seeing a reoccurring issue of games that use engines that are too easy to program for. It sounds elitist and it sounds silly, I know, but when you can make something with RPG Maker, when you can make something with Adventure Game Studio, it opens the door for all the people that really just want to try to get something on Steam and make some money, and are going to put in the least amount of effort possibly. And Steam fails to curate its store, although in this case they actually did do something, or somebody did something, who knows, maybe the creators of the game pulled it after a cease and desist was handed out. But yeah, if you're not making at least what I would classify an A-level game, then you shouldn't be allowed to put it on Steam. That should go on something like itch.io, or Steam should have a separate store completely for games that should be free to play and very low quality things. Go for like a tip jar idea or something, or patronage or something else that potentially might fund somebody who's made a game that really doesn't deserve to be sold as a product, but you still might want to support. But this is bad, and you frankly can't get through here. You've got to just run. That's the trick here. You've got to run in between all of that. Stay still inside the detector range. This game in particular probably just had a huge number of refunds because you can't, like, it's not like the music is the same even, so it's not like this is a rhythm game hidden behind it. Like, if the music was the same, I'd think maybe I'm supposed to hit it and then let go on the beat. And that might be an interesting way to turn something that's just a avoid detection game into something worth playing. But, man, this is ridiculously difficult. Ridiculously difficult. This is silly, and it's not like we're on the 20th level. We've barely been playing 10 minutes. And we've already hit something insane. Like, no quality assurance, no testing of actual playability or fun gameplay here. Often I wonder if games are designed in some school, high school or college, and then those games are published. In this instance, I don't even think that's the case. Like, if you turn this in as a project in a high school or school, you probably would deserve about a C, maybe even an F, just for failing to understand the basics of making a game fun. Sure, you got walls, and you've got floor and ceilings and items that flash, and you've got a character that actually moves where you click. But you don't have a game here, you have an annoying program. Nobody likes dying. Nobody likes incredibly high difficulty spikes. Nobody is great about seeing clocks constantly climbing up. This is a one-button game. And no controller support, nothing like that might give you maybe slightly tighter controls, but wouldn't really. And let's go to the main menu. So, there's no difficulty settings or back button. The icons look horrible. These characters probably show up later, but we didn't even get that far. They're all into achievements though. Like, here's all of the achievements, because that's what these games are about nowadays, is that we'll sell you a cheap game, and then you can get a bunch of achievements on Steam, which don't even count for anything. Steam only highlights a game if you get all 100% of the achievements in games. Half the games you can't even do that, because there's some online element or some impossibly difficult or unrealistic challenge. And let's see. We've got CEO, programmer, and level designer, Vindran Basic, and level artwork, music, and story. Now, some of that music is not made by him, clearly. And I haven't seen any story except for that intro story by Matcha Lukman. I'm surprised, and special thanks to Rafael Kokoza. It sounds all Russian to me if I was to guess. A lot of poverty in Russia. A lot of ways that the best way you can make money is by doing something that is close to a scam online. That's true in a lot of countries, certainly. You can make a decent living doing things that are morally questionable, and I would say that making a game this bad is morally questionable. Like, this is really, really bad. Like, not something that you should have published anywhere, in my opinion. Like, there has been arguments to say that video game critics, and YouTubers in particular, have been too mean to programmers, and that they say things like, you don't know how to program a game, and you're just bad at your job, and they're backseat drivers, video game critics are for some creators. To a certain point, that some of that does happen, but just to say a little background, I was a programmer. I am classically trained in programming. I know what it would have taken to make this with the current software available. This is not made from scratch. And if it is made from scratch, that just shows the level of incompetence of not knowing the resources available to you. And I know video games way better than I know programming. I have an entire lifetime to it. And I think it is fair to say this is badly made, badly thought out as a concept. Clearly they really didn't want much of a story. Or anything. I think Steam bears it out that this is not a game worth selling and worth having on their store. And I think they're right. And we've only spent about 15 minutes on this game and I've already quit. So there's no going any further with this one. I'm just gonna end it here. I could continuously lambaste it. And certainly there are parts of the game I didn't see, and I could have criticism of that. Like these characters, for instance, if they walk at this speed when you get in the game, they're going to be a nightmare. Because it's already a nightmare without characters moving around in random diagonal directions. It's only going to get worse if you introduce these. Honestly, just genre-wise, hiding needs to be complemented with some way of taking out the thing that's observing you. Let's see, there was a ninja game I played a few months ago called Mark of the Shadow, or Mark of the Ninja. I think it's called Mark of the Ninja, yeah. And in that game you have to hide in the shadow, and there's at least 4 or 5 different ways you can hide from being seen, and then when you get behind somebody, you can either stab them with a sword or knock them out, or do any multitude of different things. Just hiding, just avoiding detection alone is not a fun experience. Avoiding detection is something that's in lots of games, certainly, but it's in games with other elements. It can't be its own element on the same time. In the same way that a menu couldn't be the only element, otherwise you're just playing Excel. Well, there's actually so little to say about this game because it's just so obviously bad. It is the bottom of the bottom of us Steam games that I'm really just going on rants about other things at this point. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.